Hello everybody and welcome back to another Sharing Sunday with me, Helen Armstrong from Pandrapops Craft and Joyful Moments. This is what I'm going to be sharing with you today. It is an anniversary card, but I wanted to use, I don't know, I just this morning thought I wanted to use the arches, and then I thought, what paper can I put in the background? And it was then I wanted to use the Scenic Coast paper, which is just stunning, and then build up a picture in the foreground. So it came together quite easily, I have to say. But yeah, I hope you enjoy watching me make this card. It is a 7x7 card. It's bigger than normal. The reason I've made it bigger is because I wanted to put a lot of detail into it. Yeah. Now, I do have to be honest with you, I've used a number of sets, mainly because to get the leaves that I wanted to use. I've used the Sunset Coast set, which gave me my netting and the shells, but obviously also the stamp set, which goes with it. I used one of our new die sets, which is coming out in July 2026, for this fern type one. I used the Nature Symphony die for the driftwood and also these leaves. And then I used Greenery Lane. Let me just get the one that I used Greenery Lane for. So Greenery Lane for this one here. And then the last one I used was the new Pretty Poinsettia dies. And this was for this one. So yeah, I have a large selection of leaves. Obviously, you can just use what you have available to you. It will still look wonderful. Yeah. And you can make this any shape you wanted to. I just wanted to make it an arch because I haven't really used the everyday arches. Is that the name of them? I can't remember. Sorry. Yeah, so I wanted to use the arch dies to make this card. So this is what we're basing our card on this morning. I might change it up ever so slightly. But yeah, so let's get started. Okay, so first of all, I am going to bring in my card base. And I'm going to bring in the net die because I want to try something. I've not tried this before in a video, so I thought I wanted to try something. If you see on this card, I've just darkened the edges with some Secret Sea. This is a Secret Sea card base, and I've just darkened the edges. I wanted to see whether I could stencil through and get a bit of a net effect. So I'm going to try that first of all. Let's get my stencil brush. I'm hoping it will work. It might not. Ah, it has. Perfect. Okay. So what I'm going to tend to do is I'm just going to keep overlapping and doing a little bit here and there. Going up my card, because I just want it to have that little bit of extra effect, and I will still darken the edges as I go round because I still want that dark edged effect, but I'm quite enjoying the netting effect look. Obviously quite a bit of this is going to get covered up, but you will see a little bit of it. To make this card, yeah, it will take a little while. It's not a quick card to do. This is probably one of the cards that you make and you want to send it to someone truly special. It's not a card that, unless, you know, you could obviously sell cards that you make with this. Just put that to one side, and then I'm just going to pick up and I'm just going to come in on the edges. I do like making my edges slightly darker. It just gives a bit more depth and dimension to your card base. Yes, as I say, it does take a little while, especially to cut out all your little pieces that you're going to use. And then there's a bit of blending with inks on top of the leaves and on top of the netting. And the driftwood. So it's not, as I say, not a quick card to put together, but I think the overall effect and the end result is absolutely worth the time that you put into it. So the Scenic Coast paper, just wiping my hands because you know what I'm like, I get ink everywhere. The Scenic Coast paper has so many beautiful colours in the paper itself. Some of them are just blue. We've got a blueberry bushel, strawberry slush, Highland heather, crushed curry, balmy blue, azure afternoon. We also have gorgeous grape and melon mambo, and I think it's poppy parade. So there's an awful lot of colours that you can draw from to colour in your bits and pieces on your cards. Absolutely. You don't have to stick to the ones I have done. Just put my secret seed to one side because we are going to use that again. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the inside of my card together. Just so that is done and dusted. I'll just move my mat out of the way for now. Just double check we're okay. Okay. So, yeah, so I'm just going to put in the middle bit. And then I'm going to add, well, actually, before I put in the middle bit, what I should have done was add my strip. And I didn't add my strip, but we can add it in a minute. Okay, and I've managed, no matter what I do, I manage to get glue everywhere. So let's put that on the bottom. And I'm still covering myself in ink. Sorry, I get ink everywhere, don't I? Okay, let's see if I can clean my hands a bit better. Me and Secret Sea, I love it, but me and Secret Sea tend to have a, let's just say, getting ink everywhere moments with it. Okay, so I'm just going to put that on the bottom, which will cover that mistake I did at the bottom with my fingers. I got this strip from when I cut out. Let me just see if I can show you. So when I cut out the background, I just then cut that strip from the bottom. It just ties things in a little bit more. Let's grab my scissors. Just trim the side. Okay. We will do our stamping now as well that we need to do. So I'm just going to clean that up so we don't get covered in bits and pieces. Give it a quick wipe with a tissue. Okay, so I'm going to stamp on this one, The Adventure Continues, and a couple of boats. And we're going to use Secret Sea. So, dab, 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 dab. As I, you know, you don't have to stamp straight on your designer series paper. What you can do is you can obviously put it onto white or put it onto another one of these and then just cut round it if you don't feel confident enough to stamp straight on. Yeah, I've been stamping straight on and not seem to have too much of an issue. So I'm just going to put my 2 boats there. So this is an anniversary card, so normally be 2 people in a relationship. So I've got my brother's wedding anniversary coming up soon, and I thought this would make a great card for them. They will see it beforehand because I'm going to post it on Facebook, and they do look at my Facebook. Again, oh, just made a mess of that one as I've lifted it up. So what I will do, I'm not going to do it now, but I will just put a piece across and restamp that. If I hadn't stuck this down, I could have turned it over. Note to self, don't stick it down. All right, okay, so we have that bit. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to build our frame. So I used, what paper have I used? Just so I can let you know. I think it's the Country Woods paper from Stampin' Up. It has been out a while. I'm actually not sure whether it is retired or not, but we do have more paper which you could use for doing this. Any kind of wood grain, wood effect, or if you want to do metal effect for your window frame, you could do. Absolutely not a problem. My idea was, this is sort of looking through an archway leading out to the sea. That was my thinking on this. So what we're going to do is we are going to, I haven't decided whether I want to use that side or whether I use this side. Oh, I'm torn. I'm going to use the darker side because I used the lighter side when I did the last one. So I'm just going to turn this back over first, and I'm going to attach this to it. So I just need a little bit of glue around the edge, not a lot. And then we're going to stick it on. Okay, so that's stuck on. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some dimensionals because we want the next frame to stick up. So I've done it as a double frame just to give, again, some dimension. So I hope you're having a lovely weekend. It's the first weekend in June. Weather here is not great. It's raining for the foreseeable future, unfortunately. It certainly feels more like autumn than it does summer, which is a shame. Yeah. But hopefully we will get some really nice weather soon. I'm putting a lot of dimensionals on. You don't have to put as many as me. In fact, you could probably put half the number on, to be honest. But I just wanted to make sure that it stays put where I want it to be. And I have a tip for you. If you actually colour on the back of these, it makes it a lot easier to know where you've taken, have you taken the back off or not when you come to use them and stick them on. Okay, so what I'm going to try and do is make sure that is level as possible, which it is, so I'm very happy with that. Okay, and then we are going to stick it to our card. Just using some glue, making sure that it sticks down well. So I'm a little bit out of my comfort zone with making a 7x5 card, 7x5 inches card. It's not normally something that I would do, but I thought as it's going to be a special card for some special people, I thought I would do it. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my silicone mat, and we're going to do a little bit of blending over. But what I actually found this morning when I was colouring in my leaves and the netting and what have you, I found it was just as good to just stick it on the ink. So, which is what I'm going to do. And I have my pokey tool to help me stick it. Hi, I have to be honest, this is the second part of the video because I had to take a phone call, and at the last part of the video, just as we were about to start colouring in our leaves and everything else. So let's get to that now. So I'm just going to be bringing in my silicone mat, and we're going to get started with blending of the inks, but I'm not sure whether I said it just before. I actually found dabbing the leaves straight onto the ink pad worked really, really well this morning. So that's what I'm going to do again today. So this morning, that's what I'm going to do again now. And I'm going to pick up Mossy Meadow and Old Olive to colour in those bits and pieces. In a bit so you can see. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to dab using my pokey tool. I'm just going to dab them down to pick up some of that ink. And you see we get some nice effects with the variation of the leaves. I'll put that one on there. You just want to be able to pick a little bit of it up so you get that extra dimension. Again, it's all about building layers, and I find if you add a little bit of ink, it just makes things less flat. So I'm going to put that in there, and then I'm going to pick up a little bit of the Mossy Meadow as well. Okay. So there the green bit's done. We're going to bring in the Secret Sea to add a little bit more depth to the Secret Sea leaves that we have. So we're going to do the same thing. Dab them down. And then lift up. Let them dry whilst we do the rest. If you've got a really juicy ink pad like I have, you'll get a lot more ink coming on. Okay, so this is where I've already done my netting, and all I did was I used Azure Afternoon and Balmy Blue, and I did the same technique, just dabbing into the ink pads. And also, before I realised the video had cut, I had coloured in some of the shells as well, but we're going to recolour in our shells and maybe colour them in a slightly different way. So for those, I'm actually going to be using crushed curry, strawberry slush and Highland heather. So let's come in with our Highland Heather first. Pick up some ink, and I'm just gonna go onto that shell at the top. Okay. I might actually just do the tips of the starfish as well. And then we can choose which one we like best. Picking up our crushed curry. I'm just going to go over this part of the shell, and I'm going to go a bit darker on that edge. And then I think if we bring in our strawberry slush, we can then do the bottom of that shell and our starfish. Okay, done with that one now. Quickly wipe my hands, and we can put those just off there for now, and then bring in our card again, and we can start building our card. Oh yeah, I also had done our driftwood as well, so I'm keeping the driftwood that we'd already done, but I just blended. All I did was blend. Okay, so I'm going to stick a piece of driftwood just here, and I'm just going to lift it up slightly. And then I'm going to start building with the leaves. So I'm not going to stick them down just yet. I'm just going to play to see what looks decent, what looks good. Quite like that. And then we can add some more driftwood down here. I quite like that going across there. And I think we use the driftwood to hide it. Do we need maybe a little bit just coming in down there possibly? And are we going to use this? Don't know whether we need that. Okay. And I don't think we need that either. Right, okay, so that will be that. And then our netting, going to scrunch it up a little bit. Put one there. And then the other one will layer on top. I think we've got an idea about what we're doing. Right, okay, so let's start doing all our sticking. Gluing and sticking. Who loves gluing and sticking? I certainly do. It's when everything then comes together. Yes, as I say, I am going to have to put the two halves of the video together. First time I've ever done that, so I hope it works. I'm going to actually put some dimensionals on to make my leaves stick out. I'm just going to put the two, because I think that's all we need. Double checking, making sure that we're not off camera. Okay, don't want that covering the, oh, let's lift that because we don't want it covering the wording. Okay, Then I'm going to stick the dark one on the front, just there. I think we'll just do that with glue because I don't think we need to necessarily stand it up. Just a couple of splodges of glue. And just hold it for a little bit. I'm going to add our fin bit, and I think I might have it actually going at a slight angle. Again, just put some glue on the back. Okay. So I hope you're all having a good weekend. You're getting some chance to relax. Today our plan is to go to our local artisan market in a place called Knutsford. Wimslow do one, but it's not until next weekend. So we're going to take advantage of the glamorous job of going to our local refuse centre, our tip, and dropping off some cardboard. Yeah, mainly Stampin' Up boxes, I have to admit, because I've been ordering a lot for kits that I'm going to be making out. That's going out in August. So yeah, so mainly my boxes. Okay, do we need to... I think I might put a dimensional under the back of that just to tip it up. Okay, there we go, that's a bit better. All right, so let's put some more driftwood on. Oh, where's my other bit? There we go. So yeah, let's put the driftwood on now. So we want to sort of try and cover up the bottom of our leaves. You can put multiple pieces on. So I'm just going to put glue on this one. Again, raising it up ever so slightly, sticking it down. Doesn't want to stick this morning. No, it doesn't want to stick. Okay, why is it not sticking? Thank you. Okay. And then this bottom piece just down here. So yeah, we have too much cardboard to be taken away by our recycling bins that come and get done once every 2 weeks. So we are going to, as I say, our tip refuse centre to take it there. Okay, so we're now going to start layering our netting. We might add another flower. We'll see. Oh, sorry, leaf, not flower. We'll see. See what we decide to do. So this is, remember, you building these up, you can use whatever you want to. You know, if you've got things that you can use, leaves that you can use, you know, it doesn't even have to be seaside related, anything like that. If you've just got a really nice background you want to use, this framing technique works really, really well. Okay, that's my first one. I'm just going to add some glue bits and pieces, not too much. Mainly on the edge, because that's where I want it to stick. And I'm just scrunching it up. Okay. Obviously you give it a lot longer to dry than I have. By holding it in place where you want it. I've just realised I've got something stuck behind, and I don't want that on my card. That's better. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up my, I'm going to use our shells, and I'm going to put these up on dimensionals because it will also help stick through onto our netting. Put a little one on this one, mini dimensional. And then I might put two of these on, I think, seeing as we now have them. Or maybe three's enough. Three might be enough. I think three might be enough. Now, do we want this extra leaf coming in and then just covering that a little bit there? I do actually. I think I do want it, and I'm going to stick it on a dimensional. I think I do want it on. So I'm just going to push it under there and onto there. Okay. And there we have our finished card. I really hope you've enjoyed this. What we could do extra on this is what I did with this one. I put some little embellishments on. To be honest with you, I'm not sure about them, so I'm going to leave them off this one. So there we go. We have our two different versions of the card. Do we prefer the darker wood frame to the light one? I think I possibly do. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed that little mini tutorial. As I say, it is a, you know, there's a lot of work involved in it. It does take a bit more time than normal. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your Sunday. And as always, everybody, craft your joy.